It's about time, it's about time. Well, hello and welcome to the vlog. I have lots more of your questions to answer this week. Thank you so much for them, they're really lovely. Please keep them coming in because I love finding out what you want to know about, and that helps me to make sure that this vlog is exciting to watch. So first, what have I been working on this week? Well, I've got a gap now after the copy edits of Anna Brown before I see the proofs, the page proofs, which is actually what I'm really looking forward to, because it's when you see your book for the first time as it's actually going to look. It's typeset in the font that it's going to be used in the actual book, which is really exciting, especially for me. I'm a total font geek. I love fonts and I'm always fascinated to know which font my book is going to be written in. They've all been written in slightly different fonts over the years, and because this is my first book for Pam Macmillan, it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. So I'm excited about that, but I've got a few weeks before that goes. That's being all put together now. All the edits are being done. I've done all my acknowledgements, so all of you who, those of you who actually got suggestions that won my Get Involved challenges while I was writing Anna Brown, you're all in the book. So what I'm doing at the moment is actually a lovely time because I'm kind of daydreaming. And I said this on Twitter the other week, that actually I used to get told off in all of my school reports. They used to say Miranda would be a straight A student if she only applied herself and stopped daydreaming. But now I daydream for a living, which is really good fun. So I've got some ideas. I have an idea for book 8. I have to submit it to my publishers, and they have to decide, you know, whether it's what they want to do, and we'll go from there. But I'm kind of working, I've got a few ideas, but there's one at the moment that's a lot more sparkly than the others, and that's the one that I think I'm going to work on. I've written the first 4,000 words of it, and I've done quite a few sort of planning scenes, and I've plotted it out so I know where the book's going. But then I've got other ideas as well that are sort of milling around. I have a project that I'm writing. You know, that those of you who watch my vlog will know that I have this thing where I kind of write for fun, and I do something. My Write Foxy ideas is that I have projects that are just for fun, and so this is the time of year when I can actually really indulge in that and get back to that real love of writing without it having a deadline, without it having loads of pressure. So that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm kind of letting my ideas kind of percolate. And I do think if you're a writer, it's something that's really important. I think we can be so driven of I've got to get the first draft done, I've got to get the edits done, I've got to, you know, if you're self-publishing, I've got to then try and get it copy edited and get it out there, or if you're with a publisher, you've got a deadline hanging over, you've only got a certain amount of time to do it. I think the moment you get a chance to really hang out with your ideas and really just indulge yourself in them, you need to do it because it kind of recharges your batteries. So I'm enjoying doing that at the moment. So there we go. Lots of exciting things to come, and I'll tell you about that as we go on. Really good news is that When I Fall in Love is going to be published in Italy and Germany. And I'll have covers to show you, and the titles, which are always fantastic, to tell you very, very soon. So that's really exciting. So on to your questions now. First question is from Simona Elena, who's Sky Dreamers in me on Twitter, and she asked me 2 questions. I answered one last week, and this one is this week's question. It's a brilliant question. I don't think I've ever been asked this before, so thank you, great question. She says, how much impact does your childhood have on your writing? Wow, a lot more, probably a lot more than I even realised, because I think when you write, I've always said it's a little bit like putting together a patchwork quilt. You have scraps of ideas and scraps of experience and scraps of memories, and there's things that you actually experience, and there's things that you think about what it would be like if you could experience, and you kind of stitch all of those together. There's a bit in Fairy Tale of New York where Rosie said that her mom says about you've got to look at somebody's eyes to tell whether they're really happy or not, and there's a hostage that's being released on the TV news, and she covers up the bottom half of his face, and he goes from a smiling face to you see the pain in his eyes. And that was actually something that my mum did when Terry Waite was released, when he'd been in captivity, and he gave a press conference, and I said, oh, he looks so happy to be out, and Mum said, cover up the bottom half of his face. and his eyes will tell you a different story. I think my whole childhood was spent dreaming up ideas, and so in that sense my whole career I owe to my childhood, because I dreamt of being a writer since from the age of about 5½. So I hope that answers your question. I think a lot of it comes through in your writing, and it's only afterwards when you read it back and say, oh, I know where that came from. And I've also found, because I write a book a year, that it's almost like a document of what's happened to me that year. So it started with A Kiss, was all about, you know, weddings, and I found myself planning my own wedding by the end of the year of writing it. And When I Fall in Love, Elsie's sister Gwyn finds out that she's having a baby, and she has the baby in the book. And not long after that I found out I was expecting Flo. So it's nice in a way. It's kind of a document of my life. So I hope that answers your question. That's a great question, thank you very much. And final question for this week is from Katie Marsh, who's wonderful. She's on Twitter. And you need to follow Katie because her novel is coming out this year, and I'm very excited for her. I was very lucky to read a very early draft of the first chapter a couple of years ago now, and she's got this massive deal and it's all coming out and it's really exciting. So I will probably be really going mad about it on Twitter, so watch my Twitter feed for more. But Katie wants to know what were my first 3 steps to starting a book. My first 3 steps. I don't realise that I have a process till I look back. My first 3 steps, I think I start with a question, like a what if. What would happen if? So for A Parcel for Anna Brown, what would happen if you know, a woman who considers herself quite ordinary and has a quiet life is suddenly the object of somebody's attention because they start getting magnificent gifts and it starts to change them? What would happen? So it begins with a premise. Then I'd say a lot of daydreaming, because I think you have to think around, you have to sit with an idea for a bit and you have to write little snippets, and it's different with every book. Some books I can start at chapter 1 and go right the way through and it's brilliant, and you know, I know where I'm at and the story comes as I'm going. Others I kind of come up with a premise, I have a little snippets of writing that may go through the book, and then I kind of sort of start to weave it together with that. With Anna Brown it started off as The Parcel, and it begins actually from the point of view of the delivery man walking into the building where Anna works with the parcel and what he notices about her. So the first time we meet Anna is actually through his eyes, not through hers, so you can kind of see what other people can see about her but she can't necessarily see herself, and that came straight away. So yeah, so I think the what if, the question or a premise comes first, then the daydreaming, and then the third thing is just actually writing the book, and that could involve plotting. Certainly when I'm writing a book a year I think I need to do some plotting, but I love writing the first draft. It's my favourite bit really, and there's a brilliant quote from the very lovely and much missed Terry Pratchett, who said that the first draft of anything is you telling yourself a story, and I think as writers that's the bit where it's a real gift to you because you're discovering the story. So yeah, my third point I suppose would be write. So I hope that answers your question. We've got lots more questions coming, don't worry if yours wasn't answered this week, it will be coming very very soon. If you have a question though that you'd like me to answer, all you have to do, pop a comment underneath the blog. You can send me a message at mirandawordy@gmail.com via email, or you can chat to me on Facebook because I'm Miranda Dickinson, author on Facebook, or you can tweet me at Wordsmith. I think that's all of them. They're getting more, if you notice, they're getting more every week. It's quite crazy. But tell me and I will answer them in a future vlog. But until then, take care, have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.